まあそれなら仕方もなかろうが。
さてそろそろわしの出番ですの。超大玉ラセンガン。
Hey everybody, BAM Collectibles here, back for another statue unboxing review for you. The Pain Invasion arc within Naruto will always be one of my all-time favorites, so I am stoked to showcase today another statue of Jiraiya vs. Pain by Chikara Studios. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video where I will showcase Green Lotus Studio Jiraiya vs. Pain against this one to show you what they look like side by side. For real though, this base freaking rocks. I love the way that we have the clear resin dripping down from the center there. It's all muddy and dirtied up as well. And then on the back, we'll find these two notches that will be supporting some larger piping that really just enforce the fact that, you know, this is from the village hidden in the rain. Chikara also did an amazing job at making the base truly detailed. I mean, if you look at the rock itself, it's got so many different layers of depth to it that make it look extremely realistic. And then we have this Path of Pain sitting over here to the side. I won't reveal which one just yet, but there's a peg in the center of his body where Jiraiya will be keyed into later. And then obviously he's missing both of his hands and his head. There's a closer look at that resin there. It looks extremely realistic. I love it. Great attention to detail. And there's also a notch there where another Path of Pain will be resting. In comes the first pipe that's going to be installed on the back of this, and it's got a nice rustic feel to it. And the one thing that I've kind of always wanted to know, I'm not sure if it ever explains it, is why there's so much piping in the village hidden in the rain. Because I guess maybe it's meant to redirect all the water that's coming all throughout the village, so it kind of goes through the piping and goes elsewhere. If anybody else has an idea or what they're for, please let me know in the comment section below. That's my thought on it. The second larger pipe we see here is going to have two different purposes. So on the bottom, there is a large steel rod that's going throughout it. That's because on this notch is actually going to support a complete Path of Pain that's going to mount to the side of it. So it's not just an effect piece that enhances the overall base. It's going to serve as the backbone to support a character later on. Next, we'll go ahead and dress up the Path of Pain that is sitting on the right side. Here is the hand for it, which is sculpted with a magnet on the end, so it just magnetizes right onto the body. And this is none other than the human Path of Pain. This is the one that had the ability to read minds and also suck out souls. I greatly look forward to showcasing more of IM Studios' Paths of Pain, where actually they're going to get their own unique statues each, and this one will have one surely, so I look forward to seeing those. If you haven't caught those videos before, I've already showcased two, both Nagato and Yahiko, and if you haven't checked that out, I'll go ahead and link them here, but fantastic details by Chikara Studio on the head sculpt. Changing up the angles a little bit, it's time to introduce the Preta Path of Pain, which has gotten absolutely wrecked. He'll be laying on the ground. There's a large notch on the back here, and also his back, you can see, is a little bit more flat because it's going to have to sit and rest flush with the base. But the jacket of the Akatsuki looks incredible. Also, there's red cloud. There's a paint sticker on there. And then we have some texturing here on the pants and also the wrapping on the feet. Amazing job. The sculpting on this was done so well. I really have to give great praise to the studio because if I recall, this is actually their first statue that they ever made, and the overall engineering behind the statue and how everything is going to come together to feel extremely organic, like it was taken from the fight scene of Jiraiya versus these Paths of Pain. Just immaculate how they were able to bring this to life. Even stuff as simple as these chakra rods that are sculpted on the body, how clean the paint job on them, it just looks so believable and realistic, like it jumped right out of the shell. And here is the face that only a mother could love. Look at this ugly mug here. Something crazy as we look on the side, these earrings or piercing chakra rods, whatever it is that's coming up, they are extremely sharp. I can't tell if they're made of resin or actual steel. Easily, if I pressed my finger down hard enough, it could have pierced me. But the headbands on these are also really cool because they look a bit, I think I used this word before, rustic, but they're not just a clean looking headband. They look like they have a little bit of rust that's being built up, maybe because they're constantly wet by being in the village hidden in the rain. But what an incredible head sculpt done for the Preta Path of Pain. Jumping over to another part of the statue, if you thought the Preta Path got wrecked, we all know, right? The animal path of the summoning Path of Pain got completely wrecked. On the back, we have a steel rod and a notch that's going to be connecting it to the pipe. Very, very important for that to be strong because it needs to hold up this heavy body. And this large sphere-looking hole in the center, we all know what's going there. While I'm getting this installed, I want to mention, for those unaware, I do have memberships on the channel that you can join, and for those that are in the Kage tier, they have access to an exclusive once-a-month coupon that is good at favorgk.com. If you want to check out the details for that, just click that join button on the video. I greatly can look forward to answering any questions anyone has on that, but we'll go ahead and look at the Animal Path face here. A bit of confusion for me because most of the Paths of Pain didn't have a lot of emotion, and this one showed a lot of emotion, so it kind of threw me off. Here is the hair piece. We remember him having a very, very long ponytail for this, so it's going to come in with that tiny steel rod and a notch in the back of his head. With that installed, this does completely add to how dynamic the statue is and all the different actions that are going on. Again, thrown off with the emotion from on the face. I always imagine them not having emotion because they're just bodies being used, by Nagato in this whole thing. But here we have the LEDs are going to be used for this. If you twist it, it connects the battery and turns it on. As you see, they're very, very bright LEDs for being so small and compact. Huge thanks to Chikara Studio for including this remote here to turn it on and off. Usually when you have separate LEDs that are controlled by a wire or a USB power, it is a pain because you have to turn them on manually and you never end up enjoying them. But because it comes with a remote where you can easily turn it on, I'm going to actually use this one. Now here we have the Rasengan that's included, a lot larger than we normally see, and this is the one that delivered the final blow that took out the Animal Path of Pain. So thankful for that remote because I was so worried that I wouldn't be able to actually enjoy these LEDs, because with how easy it is to turn it on with the flip of a switch like that, bada bing, bada boom, looks incredible, brings more character and life to the scene and the overall statue. You know how we do too, right? We're going to be doing 4 packs of Naruto CCG cards because we have 4 characters represented in the statue. Let me quickly cut through all these packs. And with that done, let's go ahead and bust these open, take a look, and see what's inside. I'm thinking with 4 actual packs to go through, right, we're going to have a higher chance at pulling some actual SRs, right? We usually have had some massive luck in the past, but here I think we're going to actually, is this going to be the day where we pull 2? Maybe there's a chance. We'll see. Ooh, that's an awesome looking Kasame card. Huh, that's the same rare we had for the last pack. I gotta say, there's one card that I've been hunting for, and it's gonna be the Sage Mode Jiraiya card. It's one that I do want to acquire and eventually showcase next to this statue. That would be incredible. That was our holographic for the pack, so that probably means there's no super rare. Are we gonna have luck in this last pack to see if we can pull one? I think so. For those that have been asking when I'm going to be breaking open the next booster box, probably not anytime soon. I'm actually really enjoying doing these in the middle of some of these videos. Oh, I dropped that card again. Oh, I love that card. It always thinks it's like a super rare card because it's purple, but it is not. Well, let's see what we have. And Hiruzen and Conqueror. Okay, man, see, look at this. I love the art on these cards. You never get to see stuff like that. Oh my God, it's incredible. So yeah, no booster box anytime soon. Maybe in the future we'll crack one open, but for now we'll just keep on sprinkling them in on the unboxings. Here we have Jiraiya in his Sage mode, looking as incredible as ever. On the bottom, we'll see that steel rod, which is very important. It runs up through the entire leg to support the body. Also, the sandal is a bit deformed because it's going to be resting on one of the Paths of Pain. The battle damage, though, look at that. Doesn't it look so good? There's all throughout sprinkled. We'll see a bunch of different scrapes and tearing in the outfit. For being a 1/6 scale statue, they really managed to pack in a lot of details. Usually, this is the kind of details you might see in quarter scale statues, but for them, they did such an amazing job. On the shoulders here, you can't really see them, but there are 2 magnets impacted here that will later, allow you to have Ma and Pa on the shoulders. Now, I know some people get triggered when I call them just Ma and Pa. I know this is Shima right here, and Pa is Fukusaku, but I like to call them Ma and Pa. It's a lot simpler, a lot easier, and just fun to say. Really cool how they sculpted these separately. I think they did a great job with it. On the bottom, you see it's curved, so they can perfectly rest on that shoulder. How cool does that look, right? So it's really cool how they flawlessly fit onto the shoulder. So if you for some reason didn't want them on there, or you wanted to put them somewhere else on the statue, you could, and it doesn't affect the outfit at all. Here we have the hands that were sculpted separately. Really perfect, right? There's so many details that go into Jiraiya's hands while compared to something like the Paths of Pain's hands. And again, they did it so well. Let's go ahead and get these attached onto the body here. And I will tell you, if you didn't notice already, I did have to remove the head of the bottom right Path of Pain because that gets in the way of his foot. You'll see here the strand that goes over it. You can't connect him unless you do remove that first. Jiraiya's scroll was also sculpted separately. I don't know what it is about statues. There's something about seeing the scroll. I always love holding it in person, all the details that they cram in there as well. And these are also some bits of ropes that they sculpted separately that are more details. They don't really help to hold it in because of that notch and the magnet inside is what really holds it. But it just adds more details to it and accuracy to how Jiraiya normally does hold his scroll. The ropes are a bit tricky to get in. Unfortunately, one had fallen off on the left side. I'll go ahead and pick that up in just a moment. But they just kind of go towards the inside of Jiraiya's body once you settle them into place. If you were to see it from the back end, which I should have taken a video of, it doesn't look that great, that clean, but it could be that I'm installing them incorrectly. Here we have the first head sculpt for Jiraiya. This is him in his non-sage mode. Of course, we have that notch in the back where the piece of hair is going to be going. But here we can see it's a mixture, right, of both pain, intensity. You can really feel that he is delivering a final blow to Pain. And then over here as well, this one is extremely intense compared to the other. And I love the fact that they offered the options available in this statue to showcase him in whichever way that you would like. Let me know in the comments below, which head sculpt would you put on the statue if you owned it? And this is something that they included that I love when studios do. It is an alternative place to hold the secondary head sculpt that you're not using. How cool is this, right? So rather than keeping it in the box or throwing it behind the statue, you can showcase it near or next to it. Now here we have that giant lion mane looking hair that's stapled to Jiraiya. Such a difficult thing to sculpt, and they did it so successfully, so well. Because it has some weight to it, it is important to have a steel rod connected to the rest of the statue. So you're typically going to see steel rods connecting heavy pieces and magnets for the lighter ones. But here is how it looks when you connect it to the back of the head. I'm probably going to be actually using some blue tack in the back to further reinforce it. So let me just put that in there right now. Going to also remove Ma and Pa just for the slight chance that I do knock them off. I don't want any damages to happen for them, but that's how it looks installed. Incredible. The head is a little loose, and so that does concern me a little bit. I'll need to figure out, maybe scrape away sometimes at the paint that's on top of the magnet to give a stronger hold for the magnets of the neck joint and the body. But there we have Ma and Pa back on the shoulders. Included with the statue is also going to be a paper certificate of authenticity. They have a nice, awesome looking wax seal here. I swear, one day I would love to own a wax seal of some sort. That would be incredible. Maybe have like a BAM on it or something. But as you can see here, there's only 81 of these made in the world, right? That is such a low edition size. So what an incredible collector's piece. And here is the two of Green Lotus and Chikara Studios side by side. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments below for those that checked that video out to see which one do you think is better. Such different takes on very similar scenes, right? Well, I want to thank you for your time and checking out my video. If you haven't made that decision to subscribe to the channel, what are you waiting for? Click that button. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Also, be sure to check out the Green Lotus version of a similar scene of this statue, and that's right here for you to easily click. Thank you again. As always, everybody, do what you love and love what you do. Bam out.